Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us for the Wanneroo Business Association's Meet the Nominees pitching event. My name is Lauren Bell, General Manager of Wanneroo Business Association, and I first of all would like to start by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land that we meet on today, the Wadjuk people, and also acknowledge and pay our respects to the elders past and present. Thank you all for logging in. I can see you all popping your messages in the chat, so make sure you jump on there and communicate with each other. I am going to start by running through quickly in terms of how we're going to run today's session. So I will be introducing our current President, Nigel Santa Maria, for a quick welcome. I will then move on to set the scene in terms of how the board currently lies moving into the AGM, along with who's leaving us, and introducing those that have nominated us to do their pitches so that you can get to know them. So first of all, just good luck to everyone and thank you to everyone that has nominated. And I will get started by handing over to our current President, Nigel Santa Maria.
Thanks, Lauren, and good morning, everyone, and good morning to all the nominees as well. So my name is Nigel Santa Maria, President of the Wanneroo Business Association. Before we hear from each of the members nominating to join our Committee of Management, I wanted to thank you for putting yourself forward and for your support in general to the Wanneroo Business Association. This is the 7th consecutive year we have received more nominations to join the Committee of Management than available positions, which is excellent. This is extremely healthy for a not-for-profit organisation and no doubt sets us up for success as we move forward. As custodians of the WBA brand, in line with our strategic vision, we have an obligation to continue to serve our local business community and provide value and relevance to our members. As my 2 years as president comes to an end and being on the board for 4 years, I must say it's been an awesome journey and I'm extremely humbled by the successes we have achieved to date. So as I step down from the board and hand over the reins to the next incoming president, I'm confident of the proposed new board to take the WBA to the next level and continue to capitalise on the successes that we have achieved to date. For the nominees, if you don't get elected, don't be discouraged, as last year the nominees that weren't elected were also involved in our subcommittees. I personally like to thank Lauren and Kelly for their continued great work, and to the existing committee management. You have certainly been an active and diverse board, especially the executive committee, of which without your active contribution and hard work, we would not have what we have today. So thank you, I really appreciate it. And I will hand back to Lauren now so she can set the scene ahead of the AGM, and I look forward to hearing from all the nominees this morning. Good luck.
Thank you, Nigel. So bear with me as I do run through, because there's quite a few changes coming up. So as you may have already heard, we have received 10 nominations for 6 available board member positions. Nigel has, as just mentioned, he's finishing up after 4 years with us, serving the last 2 years as our president. And our secretary, Mike Pilkington, is also stepping down. He joined the committee in 2019 as a board member and served the last 2 years as our treasurer. And we are also saying farewell to 2 of our committee members, Dr. Jala Sharafazad and Katie McKeon, who are at the end of their terms and will be leaving us as well. Andy Kale and Stephen Windsor, who are online with us today, are also finishing terms. Andy Kale as our current secretary and Stephen Windsor as a board member. And as you can see, they've chosen to re-nominate for another 2 years on the board. So you'll be hearing from them today amongst the rest of the nominees. So thank you to all of our current serving board members for contributing to your passion and your time and for championing the Wanneroo Business Association. We'll formally be thanking you all at the AGM next month. But moving forward, as per the Wanneroo Business Association rules, office holders must, where possible, be nominated from existing Committee of Management members. So as we're losing Nigel and Mike in those office bearer roles, the Committee of Management formally voted at their last meeting for the following people to be elected into the office bearer roles. So to confirm, because I know it's all a bit of a mouthful, if successful on being re-elected, Stephen Windsor will step into the role of the president. So if he's re-elected to the board at the AGM, he will become the next president. Likewise, if Andy Kale is successful on being re-elected to the board at the AGM by members, she will retain her role as secretary. The role of treasurer will remain vacant until the first convened board meeting post AGM. So that's how the board composition lies at this stage, awaiting the election. But I am now going to move on to introduce some of our nominees by alphabetical order of surname to do a 2-minute pitch. The 2 minute will be timed, and I will be jumping in to stop people towards the end of the 2 minutes. For those of you that are watching, I just want to mention a couple of features of Zoom so that you can be involved and ask some questions that I can put to some of the nominees after they've done their pitches. So at the bottom of your screen, if you're watching this session live, you'll have the option to put a question in either the chat box or the Q&A. So if you submit your questions, I'll be able to ask them at the end. You can either ask them in general to anyone, or you can specifically ask individual people. So I would encourage those of you that are watching to put your questions in and get involved. So first up, our first nominee, we do have Neve Campbell from First Class Accounts Wanneroo. So I'll just get you to unmute yourself, Neve. And when you're ready, you can start, and I'll start the timer.
Morning, everybody. Thank you so much for making the time to jump on here this morning. I'm Neve Campbell from First Class Accounts Wanneroo. We're a family bookkeeping business based in Lansdale and Nangara. We've been members of the WBA for about 5.5 years, pretty much since we started the business at the end of 2016. I've lived every minute of being a member of the WBA, meeting new businesses and making a lot of new friends and contacts along the way. I do try to get to as many events as possible and, you know, what we can fit in. And over the last 5.5 years, I've loved seeing all the new members that have been coming through as well. And it's been great to get to know everybody. As a small business owner, we all know how hard it can be working for ourselves. Being able to get out and chat with other business owners in the same position has been really lovely. I decided to nominate this year so I could be an advocate for the small business community. I see how much good the WBA does, and I really wanted to get involved and do my part as much as I could. I think I have a lot to offer the board as a small business owner myself within the Wanneroo area, and I've also got a lot of clients within the area. So I see the areas they struggle in and also what makes them succeed as well. So I love working with people on their small business journey, especially at that startup phase. And I'm always the first person to tell them they've got to contact Lauren and join the WBA, because I can see how much that can help someone as they grow into their business. So that's me, Neve Campbell, and thank you very much.
Awesome, Neve, 1 minute and 34. She's set the line now. Next up, we've got Agatha De Fonseca from Execute Marketing. Over to you, Agatha.
Thanks, Lauren. Good morning, everyone. My name is Agatha De Fonseca, Execute Marketing. A little bit about me. I've been working in marketing for over 15 years, and I started off my career at the Chamber of Commerce and Industry of WA, which was all about supporting business, big and small. I've worked with a number of large national, international brands over the time, as well as small and medium-sized business, and that's where I found my passion. So helping those smaller sized businesses grow and thrive is really a big part of why I started my business. So I'm currently working with a variety of businesses in a really broad range of industries that includes manufacturing, financial services, events, hospitality, landscaping, retail, and working closely with these businesses really gives me a really great insight into the challenges and needs of a business. And I'm not talking just from a marketing perspective, obviously the broader sense of business and how I can help support those businesses. The reasons why I have nominated for the board of the WBA is pretty much quite simply that without them, I probably wouldn't exist as a business. So when I was the support that I received from the WBA really gave me the push to finally take the plunge into business ownership. And I really want to be able to help people do the same thing. It was invaluable. I've been fortunate enough to run a number of events for WBA members in terms of workshops focusing on strategic marketing and social media training. I really am an advocate for the association and what it does and the amazing work and the opportunities that it continues to provide business. And I hope to be voted onto the board so I can continue to help more and more businesses be successful, and also to be and see the WBA grow from strength to strength.
Awesome. Good work, Agatha. Thank you. Next up, we have Bakamudu from Job Skills Training Academy. Just grab you to perfect.
Fantastic. Thank you, Lauren. My name is Bakamu Dube, and I'm the owner of Job Skills Training Academy, which is an RTO based in Journlab. So we do accredited and non-accredited healthcare courses. I nominated today mainly because I'm also a business coach. So I always talk about business, talk to people about business. And what I've found is that even though I have all those clients, I also have a lot of people in the community. I am some sort of a community leader as well in terms of business, where people just contact me and ask me business questions. For example, yesterday I was just talking to somebody about explaining to them, what accounting software they have. They've started a business, but they don't have the structures in place. And this is not even one of my clients, but people just contact me for that reason. And I find that I'm always giving out business advice for free in the community, as I'm also part of the City of Wanneroo multicultural advisory group. So naturally people come to me, and I think that I would like to explore a little bit further about networking opportunities for all these people. I know a lot of people who would benefit from being in an association like the WBA, but are not for whatever reason. So looking at exploring the different ways maybe of trying to bring them in, how to work with them and give them the knowledge that I know they need. I know a lot of people with businesses, but far from what the businesses should be in terms of structure. So that's one of my biggest things, because I'm an advocate for business people. And I think having the backup of something of WBA and being in a board role would actually help with that. So that's one, that's my main reason really. And I am experienced in training and assessment and compliance stuff. So that's some of the skills that I can bring on board. And I enjoy business.
Awesome. Thank you, Bakamu. Not had to stop anyone yet, so the pressure's on. Next up, Alison Evans from My Insurance Kit. Over to you, Alison.
Good morning, all. Yes, my name is Ali from My Insurance Kit. This is definitely stepping out of my comfort zone. I am quite the introvert, and that's probably why I truly value WBA and similar organisations. Growing a business, I've been in business for like over 10 years, but I'm still learning, and the importance of having champions in different sectors of business to actually help you through your own journey and to help them back is an absolute massive, massive thing for me, because I wouldn't be where I am today without those fellow champions. So I believe WBA, it's about connection, collaboration and communication. And me being in insurance, that's definitely where I'm at as well at this point in time. I actually call myself Total Asset Protection Manager. So a business is such a huge asset, not just the business itself, but the person. So if I can help people with themselves plus their business, not just insurance, like the whole kit and caboodle, that's what I'm actually trying to do. So extending that out and being actually on a board of business, that will help me grow, and that will help me pass that on to my clients as well, and even just people that I'm talking with in general day-to-day business. So me personally, I have been in insurance for almost 30 years, believe it or not. So I am very process driven, compliance driven, very, very much attention to detail. So that, and being a FIFO mum, I certainly know how to get things done. 2 daughters under 10. I've had to master the art of listening and not interrupting, because that very much is upsetting to young girls. So
It's time, Alison. Sorry, it was a bit
wow.
ironic when you said about interrupting, but yeah, sorry, that was your 2 minutes just over. So thank you. I'm going to introduce Scott Ferguson from Jara Property.
Hi everyone, my name's Scott Ferguson. As Lauren rightly pointed out, I'm a director and business owner of a property development and development management company called Jara Property. We specialise in small commercial development, and the reason I've nominated to join for the board is I actually had my office at the Wanneroo Business Association for 4 years, where we moved out last year to bigger premises, unfortunately. And I had first-hand experience of seeing the great work that WBA does on a day-to-day level, and I actually miss being there. My reasons for nominating are that the work that's done there is extraordinary, and particularly by Lauren and Kelly and anything I can do on board to assist them, set direction for how they manage and implement what the board puts in place. That's, my primary reason is to assist there. It's a credit to the boards of past that the Wanneroo Business Association is so successful, and maintaining what has been done and providing the assistance for Lauren and Kelly to implement what is a really, really impressive organisation. I've got pretty good skills with. Am I up? Am I?
No, you got half a minute.
Oh, so skills in dealing with people. So all businesses are people businesses, and I think the networking stuff and that we do at the WBA is super important, and happy to continue that on. Thank you.
Awesome. Sorry, Scott, I thought you'd finished there. Sorry for interrupting. Next up, we've got Andy Kale from Andy K Design and Therapy on Wheels. Let's see which hat she's wearing today.
I've always got both hats on. Hi everyone, I'm Andy Kale from Andy K Design and Therapy on Wheels. Now, while I'm currently on the board, it doesn't mean I'm automatically, you want me to be on the board for another term. So people have a stereotype of board members as stuffy old men in suits making financial decisions that are best for the association. Now, I know that's not WBA by any stretch of the imagination, but it does make you wonder what type of people that you want on the board for a business association. And I think you need variety so that there's a good representation for everybody's interests. So I'm here as the creative, the colour and the community. As a owner of an established small graphic design business, as well as the founder of a charity, I almost feel like I've got both hats on when I'm sitting around the board table. I'm here to remind other members of the community aspect of the WBA, bringing businesses together to help everyone grow and prosper. And if we can do it with a bit of fun and in a more interactive way, then even better. So whether you're a small market stall or an international business owner, I want you to think outside the old stereotype and consider adding a little bit of creativity and a lot of colour back onto the board for your business and as a community representative. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Andy. Next up, we have Dean Petrie from Top Dog in Town.
Good morning, all. And yeah, thanks, Lauren. So yeah, I am Dean Petrie. I am the operations manager of the Wanneroo markets as well, which is home to over 40 small businesses. This role is both challenging and rewarding in that I try and provide businesses with a platform to start their business and ultimately move on to the next bigger step in their business development path. I'm also the owner-operator for Top Dog in Town as one of the businesses at the Wanneroo markets. And after 3 years of development, I've actually sold that business, which has seen the little hot dog shop become the biggest business at the Wanneroo markets. My expertise lies in business development and growth. My theoretical knowledge comes from completing a business degree and accounting business law, along with a business administration master's degree specializing in project management. My practical knowledge comes from multiple companies I've owned over the last 10 years. Some not so successful, but has only provided an opportunity for personal growth, and some very successful, which has seen me increase revenue by over 400% in 18 months. So my WBA involvement over the last 2 years has been both with Wanneroo markets and Top Dog in Town. I've also been part of the WBA Special Projects Committee, and we're looking at developing projects and programs to assist WBA members with their specific requirements. With the sale of my one company, this will free up some of the time, and I'd like to dedicate this to the Wanneroo Business Association. So the reason I've nominated is that I would like to provide further assistance to its members. And I found this role personally rewarding sitting on the committee. And I'd like to extend my viewpoint beyond my own companies. I'd like to continue the growth by expanding my business network and experiences by a more hands-on approach with local businesses in the area. I believe my wide range of knowledge from my limited career provides a different viewpoint that can be beneficial to the Wanneroo Business Association. The key to my success has been one main question.
That's time, Dean. Sorry.
Can this be done better?
I'm sorry, I've got to keep it fair.
Okay.
Thank you. Next up, we have Russell Sumner from Shield Law.
Hi, my name's Russell. As Lauren says, I'm from Shield Law. We're a small mobile and virtual law firm that covers the whole of the Wanneroo area, specialising in family law and property law. I'm a recent member. I only joined in November and my firm only started in November. But I've got to say, my experience with WBA has been excellent. Kelly and Lauren are amazing. And my reason for joining the board, because usually I don't get involved with committees, is to be part of such an organisation. I've checked out the board so far and I don't think there's any lawyers on it. So I'm hoping that my experience and my skills, I mean, I've been a lawyer on and off for 20 years, might bring something new and something different to the areas of maybe governance, advocacy, and I think it will support, and my skills will support the WBA. Other than that, I'm recent to Perth. I came here last year in March. Before that, I was in Melbourne for 10 years. And then before that, I was in Manchester. Had my own firm in Manchester as a manufacturing of chemicals and services. So my experience isn't just in law. I do have a broader experience in business. I inherited the family business when I was 25. So I've been in and out of business for 22 years. It shocks me every time I say that. It's not really much else to say. I'm hoping that my skills will speak for themselves, and I do attend the majority of events, and people that have seen me around hopefully will think I'll be a benefit to WBA. Thanks for your time.
Awesome, thank you, Russell. Next up, it's Nigel Ty from Growth Evolution Coaching. Over to you, Nigel.
Hi, thank you very much, Lauren. I've had an exceptionally diverse and varied and challenging career. Been responsible for many teams in leadership roles throughout my 25 years in the Royal Air Force as a paramedic, serving all over the world in war zones such as Afghan, Bosnia and Africa, just to name a few. Mixing, training, educating and serving people from all walks of life. I've also had the pleasure of being the medical manager for the whole of the London Olympics, bringing together some 1,000 volunteers in the medical world to create nationally award-winning teams. Sort of managing multiple GP practices, operating major hospitals in London and setting up new projects for WA Health in the medical world. Now as a master coach, I can bring all of that career experience and diversity, add with some unique coaching science and mindset perspective, and a huge suite of tools to the board for the betterment of service members. One of my greatest skills is for listening, obviously as a coach, to all the opinions, perspectives raised around the table, evaluating them and tying the strings together, culminating in a plan for the board, but hopefully from a new angle, a new perspective. So tie by name and tie by nature. I've spent my whole career serving people for the betterment and seeing them grow and achieve their goals and dreams. And I hope as a board member, I can reach and affect more people and watch the community grow. So yeah, thank you very much. Nigel Ty from Growth Evolution Coaching.
Awesome, thank you, Nigel. And the final pitch this morning, so make sure you pop in your Q&As through. I've seen them coming through. We'll move on to them after the last pitch, which will be from Stephen Windsor at Pascoe Partners Accountants.
Good morning, everyone. For those members not yet familiar with my background, my career for the last 20 plus years has been in international corporate services, running businesses for clients all over the world, business advisory and coaching, with even a little time to set up a business of my own. Yes, I'm an accountant by trade, as probably the name Pascoe Partners Accountants seems to suggest. But throughout my life, I've always had a need to help people, whether it's been in my work or my personal life. That's what drives me every day. I'm a volunteer director on the board of Kingsway Community Bank, helping customers of Bendigo change lives by returning its profits to the community. We give back around about 80% of the money that we make within the Wanneroo area back into community projects. I'm also a volunteer director of an Australian registered charity called the PTSD Research Foundation WA, which is aiming to be the world's leading research and educational centre of excellence on PTSD and traumatic stress. I joined the WBA because I'm passionate about helping the businesses of my local community. The last 2 years as a board member has been an absolutely fantastic journey with a fantastic group of people. And I've met so many wonderful business owners and community leaders in those 2 years. It's provided me with amazing opportunities for both personal and professional development, whilst allowing me to utilize my skills and knowledge as a business advisor and coach to make tangible changes to the WBA and its members. Since joining the Committee of Management, I've also been involved in the subcommittees for finance, governance, and similar to Dean, also the Special Projects Committee, which is looking at new and innovative ways to support our members and give back to the community.
That's time, Stephen, I'm afraid. I'm sorry.
No worries.
All right,
Thank you.
Some questions just come through. So I'm going to start working through them. There's a few that have come through specifically. There's one for Andy here, so this one will be directed to you. Is there anything you would do differently in your role if you were to be re-elected, and if so, what?
I think my role I've evolved in my role as secretary since I first started. I'd never been a secretary before, and anyone who read my very first minutes knows that I had never taken minutes before. So I am definitely getting better at putting them in point form and not being verbatim. Yeah, I think I've just it's a role where I have been evolving and I have been learning, and I'll probably step a little bit more back into the marketing committee as well. If I come back on as taking on secretary, I sort of stepped away from that, but I can see myself stepping back into that role again.
Awesome, thank you, Andy. The next one is for Alison. You mentioned you are a fly-in fly-out mom, business owner. How would you envisage balancing the additional commitment should you be elected to the board?
It's a very good point. I did consider this before putting the nomination form in. Streamlining. I've had a look at my business and my personal time and how I do spend that within. I've actually saw it mentioned within which groups I do spend my time. So I see the benefit in WBA compared to some of these other groups. So I have pulled out of 2 other groups to actually make the time. And I'm a planning superstar. I need to be like, I plan like 6 weeks in advance. Like, I have to do that for insurance anyway. So I know what's coming up. I know what needs to be done, and I just get it done. But I've had to streamline, so
Awesome, thank you, Alison. Next up, one for Dean. What was the biggest challenge you faced in your own business and assisting the businesses at the Wanneroo market, and how did you deal with the challenges?
Yeah, so this is probably the key to my success. So the biggest challenge I've always faced is the viewpoint for people to change, to change their processes, it's the constant question of, okay, what can we be doing differently? What can we be doing better? And challenging the existing employees and challenging the existing directors and owners. It's obviously the companies I've stepped into weren't necessarily successful. They were sort of stagnated in the same area. So stepping in, trying to get to change that viewpoint that something needs to change. And change doesn't necessarily come from my viewpoint. It comes from a collective. And that's the biggest challenge with the Wanneroo markets at this stage, is it's such a wide range of businesses where you have such a diverse community. So trying to get everyone on the same page, trying to get everyone on the same viewpoint it is impossible. But trying to get everyone educated on different viewpoints, different religions, different aspects of each individual storeholder sort of contributes to how we're going to change the markets, because it is stagnated at this stage, but by educating everyone around the markets to how we want to approach something and getting everyone to contribute, we'll sort of see the success that we want to see at the markets. And it's the same in the businesses I've run as well.
Awesome, thank you. There's a couple of ones that haven't come up to be asked to specific people. So if it's okay, I'm going to ask quickly the next one to Neve, Stephen and Agatha, if that's okay, just because you're the first three on my screen. This is from John Denton. So John's logged in live watching today. He's also a past president, so he's very eager and keen to keep people on their toes. And the question is, with the economy tightening and competition for business owners' money, why should someone join the WBA as opposed to other networking groups? I will start with you, Neve, first, if that's okay.
I think definitely the value for your money and the return on investment is definitely there with the WBA as opposed to any of the other groups. I saw the ones that you mentioned there, John. And I think people are more likely to do business with people that they know personally, and not just, you don't want to just do business with someone because you're in a group with them and you're sort of forced to do business with them. So what I like about the WBA is there's a lot of people in a lot of the same industries, but you can find the people that have the same values as you and have the same ideas and everything as you, so that you can find a variety of people to do business with instead of just being forced to pass referrals to people just because they're in the same group. So yeah, the return on investment and then that finding other people.
Awesome, thank you, Neve. Next up, Stephen.
Well, everyone probably online would agree that the WBA is a family. You know, when we welcome our new members, that's how each and every one of us feels, and especially when we network with new people, we go out of our way to make everyone feel welcome. You know, I've seen people going out of their own comfort zone just to help somebody to mingle in a new group, in something that they probably have never found themselves in before. But more than that, the WBA, as everyone already knows, you know, the value that we give in terms of, obviously, for a membership fee of, which is so low, you know, providing network opportunities for them, providing workshops, advocacy work that we do at the WBA. You know, I don't see all of that and the family feel in other networking groups. I have been to them, and don't get me wrong, there are some great ones out there, and people have certain needs when it comes to business and their networking, and I feel that we tick more boxes than anyone else.
Sure. So obviously over the time I have explored some of these kind of networking groups and business associations, and what I found is the Wanneroo Business Association, you don't get the value on your investment anywhere else. I kind of feel that a lot of these networking groups are kind of really restrictive as to what they kind of offer you. And I feel that the value you get in terms of free workshops, training opportunities, networking, you can't almost put a price on it. And I think really, you know, I kind of felt when I was looking at some of these other groups, when I was starting out my business, I kind of felt like there was these kind of KPIs that had to be met before I even joined these groups. And that's not the case with the Wanneroo Business Association. It's flexible to your needs. And when you've got time to go to an event, you can go, and you're not restricted by the structure. And it's very expensive for these things. So I think in terms for the value and what you get, your investment in the Wanneroo Business Association is basically priceless.
Awesome. I'm glad I've recorded this. Hey, some testimonials here that I can be using. Thank you, Agatha. I've had a similar question from both John Denton and Joe Gillen as well from NAB, who's online, which I'm going to direct to the four of you that haven't yet answered a question. So that would be to Bakamu, Scott, Russell and Nigel Ty. She's asked for maybe one idea on what they feel the WBA could be doing differently that we're not doing now that would add value to the members and the community. I understand this one's putting you on the spot a little bit, but I will go to Bakamu first, if that's okay. just get you to unmute yourself. Awesome.
All right. I think that maybe it could be beneficial to the members to collaborate with the other associations instead of being isolated, because although we're in the city of Wanneroo, it'd be good to know what's happening in the next jurisdictions and all that, but also sharing experiences. It will just broaden the knowledge and also the resources, and just networking to a larger extent as well.
Awesome, thank you. Same question, Scott, to you.
Yeah, this I've had a think about this. So one idea I did have, and it's a bit left field, having worked with some sporting clubs and been on the committees there, it's quite difficult for these small organisations to get government funding for upgrading of parks and lights. So one idea I had was we could utilise some of the business skills within the WBA to volunteer some time, and that might mean you have a lawyer, an accountant, and a business advocate, a project manager, volunteering some time to assist sporting clubs for upgrading light packages at parks. And the benefit there is the community gets something out of it, but the business also gets exposure to these clubs, and they might get some advertising out of it, and ongoing business. So that's one idea I did have.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you, Scott. Russell, to you next.
I had a couple ideas. One was really specifically about networking. When I first joined the WBA, Lauren was aware that I was scared to death of networking, and she gave me a lot of assistance. And to bust in on a conversation with strangers and looking for open conversations and not closed conversations and all that stuff, I found horrific. One idea I did have was to maybe do some events that are around an activity, rather than just having a coffee or a beer or going to somebody's premises. What about lawn bowls? What about something like that? I mean, initially I thought of playing football, but not everybody can play football. But what about lawn bowls, where you can have a drink? You might be forced into a team of 4 or 5 people where you can chat and talk, and maybe it mixes up. That for me would have been fairly useful, in the same way that speed networking is. You're forced to go and speak to people, but it's accepted. I didn't feel as though I would be interrupting anybody. The other idea I had, and I think it is happening, but maybe less when we're having some lockdowns and stuff, was perhaps get feedback from members as to what they're most struggling with, and then have other members who are specialists in those fields coming in, maybe to the WBA Enterprise Centre, and provide them with a seminar. But do it on what members have been saying they are most struggling with. So it might help the business that's providing the seminar, but also it would help all those that are struggling with those things. And I know we were doing a lot of that, and I think that doing those things face to face is better than online. That's what I would do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Russell. Some good ideas there. Nigel, sorry, I've just remembered going last doesn't do you very good stead, does it? Because people have already shared their ideas. So over to you.
Yeah, thanks very much for that, Lauren. Yeah, I very much follow on from what Russell was just saying, and certainly from my perspective for what I do. We're all business owners and we all concentrate on the numbers and the figures and the networking and everything else. But, Lauren and I have been talking in the background, reference, the mindset and the welfare of all of us as business owners, working from home on our own, and some of the stresses, anxiety and fear that generates. It's the mindset of the community, of support of the community, to make sure that we're providing tools and systems and coping mechanisms for people to be able to refer to us as the board or as a certain association that they are struggling or they're finding certain elements difficult, and actually having that welfare system really in the background to support us as business owners, because most of us operate on our own. It's very difficult to brainstorm on your own. It's very difficult to, who do I ask when I've got a problem? And having that mechanism out there where we can act as advocates, all of us, we all have our own specialities, where we can offer that, time and energy back to each other when we're having hard times, and we all have them. So I think from the welfare mindset and perspective to deal with that would be another way to support the members.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you, Nigel. That's the questions that have come through so far. Someone has submitted someone. Lauren, have you thought of running for president? I'm not sure. Maybe that person, whoever you are, you've not followed the concept of today. I'm not up for nomination, even though I'm on the screen. The final one, and that links in quite nicely. So I'll let all you nominees rest and take a deep breath. We won't be picking on you anymore. Thank you all for your contributions. We've had a quick question come through for Nigel Santa Maria as well. So what I might do is pose that to him and then hand over for Nigel to do the close as well. So just a reminder before I do finish up that the AGM is on the 14th of July. So anyone watching or watching a recording of this, please jump on and get your tickets. Make sure it's in your diary. We have got 50 people registered already, so it is set to be a really good networking opportunity and a social aspect for you all to connect as well. So I'll hand back over to you, Nigel. The question that came through was, what advice would you give to new nominees should they be successful and elected to the board, and what's the best thing you've experienced in your role? And then I'll hand over to you as well to close.
Yeah, thanks. And thanks whoever posed that question. What was the question again? Sorry, Lauren.
The question was, what advice would you give to new nominees should they be successfully elected, and what's the best thing you've experienced in your role?
Okay, I'll go with the last question first. The best thing I've experienced in my role is the meeting of so many people over the last 4 years, including, I guess the highlight for me was yesterday, having breakfast and sitting next to the Premier and talking to him one-on-one on some personal stuff, which was great to have, and to meet a lot of people along diverse industries and diverse cultures and experiences and all that. For me, professionally and personally, that development potential is massive. And listening to all the stories in terms of your experience, and whether you like to be in the front and speak publicly, or I heard some people talk about having struggles with networking. It certainly puts you out there, and this is probably one of the safest environments that we can do this. In this association without being judged or ridiculed. So I'm very, very humble to be part of this organisation. I'll continue to be part as a member, even though I am stepping down from the board. And it's come through some really great successes. And I'm sure that whoever's been elected here will continue to take the success forward. In terms of advice, I guess, is don't be afraid to challenge the ideas that have been put up by other members. Certainly, if you feel strongly about a particular idea, put your ideas forward, because that's what a diverse board is all about, is to grab that different ideas and experiences and put forward so that we can all capitalise on that growth. So does that answer the question, Lauren?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so just to wrap it up, so thank you to all the attendees, and for those who are logging on after this, I thank you. Thank you to all the nominees. It's so great to hear the passion in your pictures, in your voice, in your tone, etc. Some great questions and from the attendees, and some great answers. Some interesting ideas for the board to move forward with, and all the best to the nominees. Make sure you do register and get as many people, as many members to register for the AGM, because it's their votes that's going to count in terms of getting you in and making sure that you get nominated. So I wish you the very best of luck, and we'll see you at the AGM.
Awesome. Thank you, everyone.